Welcome to Jen's Daily Dish. Today we're going to be making something that I have been making every single week for the past 3 weeks because it is so delicious and I need to share it with you all. It is called a pain de campagne. A what? Yes, a pain de campagne. And feel free to say it with as good a French accent as you can do, like mine. A pain de campagne has 5 ingredients, and guess what's even better? It uses your sourdough starter. I know there are those of you who have your sourdough starters sitting in your refrigerator and know not what to do with it. This is it. You use your sourdough discard straight from the refrigerator, and it magically rises in the oven and creates a fantastic crusty bread with a very soft interior and just a slight hint of sourdough. Actually, quite frankly, it's perfection. I also have to make it because this pain de campagne crusty mainstay, pain de campagne, sourdough savior, let's pop the champagne. It's worthy of it. No mixer for this recipe. It's all done by hand. That's it. Super duper easy. Couple of resting periods and you've got fresh bread. Sourdough starter. Like I said, I keep mine in the refrigerator. It's been in there for a little over a week. And guess what? The sourdough is still alive somehow, and it still makes the bread rise. It makes lovely holes in the bread and makes it nice and chewy. Delicious. 3 3/4 cups of bread flour. I don't have bread flour, so this is all purpose. The difference is the bread flour perhaps would make it rise just a little bit more, but it does just fine with the all-purpose by itself, even though it has a lower protein count. I've split the recipe in half, so we're going to add in some whole wheat flour. The measurement's a little weird. I took half of 3/4 of a cup and 1.5 tablespoons. Going in. 1 3/4 cup of tepid lukewarm water. Half a tablespoon of salt. Here we go, folks. My sourdough starter, you can see this is the discard. It's got some bubbles in it already, so it does the job. You just have to trust in it. And it's a great excuse for me to feed my sourdough starter every week. 1.5 tablespoons of sourdough starter, unfed, discard, going in with my hands because we're going to mix it all up. Mixed together, it's going to form a shaggy mass. And you just want to make sure that the flour gets hydrated at this point. Don't worry at its appearance, if it's sticking to the bowl or any of that. "15 minutes has gone by and you'll see it is still a shaggy mess. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix that and you'll see that it's going to come together and make a beautiful crusty bread. Go ahead and wet your hand. And we're going to fold it over itself. We're going to pull out from the bottom and pull and fold. And pull and fold. And pull and fold. And one more time. Pull and fold. Cover it. Wait 15 more minutes. All right. Second time. Let's go in. Wet hand. Again, we're going to be pulling it and then pressing it down. Third and last time. Cover tightly and let rest for 12 hours at room temperature. 12 hours later, give or take. Again, work this around your schedule, not the bread's. The bread will be just fine. At this point, what we're going to do, if you have made a double dose or the full recipe, you'll want to split this into two and make your two individual loaves. Since I just have one loaf, I'm going to turn this out onto a lightly floured surface and then just form it into a boule or a ball of sorts. Let's turn it out. And I'm going to form it into rounds around. Flip it over and let it rest seam side down for 10 minutes. Now that this is rested for 10 minutes, we're going to shape it again into a tight boule. If you have a banneton, one of those baskets with the ridges, this is the time to use it. So we're going to go ahead and make it into a very, very, very tight ball again here. And this is going to go in a towel lined, because I don't have a banneton, bowl, just like this. I'm going to generously dust it with some whole wheat flour, like so. And I'm going to try to sprinkle it around the sides. Does not have to be perfect. This bread works out regardless of what you do to it. Let's make sure that the dough is nice and tight here. Go ahead, pick it up, put it in. And we'll tightly cover the bowl. You can do this with a shower cap actually, or a big plastic bag. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and then it goes into the refrigerator. Into the refrigerator for 12 hours or whatever works for your schedule. When you are ready to bake and get your dough out of the refrigerator, get your Dutch oven ready to go, or any other pan that you have that can withstand 500 degrees in the oven. Put this in the bottom third of your oven and turn the oven on to 500 degrees. Wait about 45 minutes for it to get super hot, and then we're gonna bake. 500 degrees is set on the oven. This is going in to heat up. Now we wait. Okay, it's been in the refrigerator for just a little over 12 hours. It's ready to go in the oven. So let's do this. Get your parchment paper ready. Take a look. After 12 hours in the refrigerator, look at that. Definitely got bigger. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dump it out onto the parchment paper, and literally just like I said, one fell swoop, like that. Can get rid of some of the extra flour here. I went a little overboard with flour on this one. Now it's time using a lame or using a very sharp knife. Cut whatever shapes you want in it. So I'm just going to make this up as I go along. This is super hot. Get your big gloves on. Take the lid off. Take your bread and put it right in the bowl. Cover again with the lid. Immediately turn your oven down to 450 degrees and wait 20 minutes. 20 minutes is up. Let's take the lid off. Again, wear your long gloves. This is hot, hot, hot stuff. Woo! Look at that. Keep it going in the oven for another 20 to 25 minutes until it's a deep golden brown. Time's up. I always like to check the internal temperature of bread. It should be 290 degrees. You'll see there it is. Let's take it out. Oh, wow. Okay. Now what you do is you take your bowl of bread and we're going to put it on a rack to cool down, and then we're going to taste it. Let's do this carefully because it's super, super hot. Sort of slide it out. All let it cool down, and then we get to taste it. It has a nice hard outer crust. Let's cut into it. All right, let's take a close look. Look at that, all done with a sourdough starter discard, no yeast. So the bottom crust is quite thick and the top crust is a little bit thinner. It's going to be beautifully nice and crunchy. Let's take a bite. I tore off a piece of the bread. The inside is nice and chewy, just like you would want from a bread. And it has a slight hint of sourdough, but not too much. So even those people who don't like sourdough, you'll still really love this bread. This is just a great everyday bread. It's got that thick outer crust, making it crunchy, soft interior. Perfect solution for your sourdough discard every single week. Fresh bread. What could be better? If I can do this, you can too. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check me out on Instagram at Jen's Daily Dish and more.